Drake Maye is the story of this game. Drake Maye has been the story the past month. Drake Maye, hopefully, in a good way, will be the story for the next 10 to 15 years when discussing the Patriots franchise and what this team looks like on the field. And what we saw yesterday during that game were the ups and downs that you get from a rookie quarterback. Not everything is going to be flawless. There are going to be mistakes. There are going to be turnovers. There are going to be plays that make you scratch your head. But there are also going to be plays that make you shake your head. I've said that from the very beginning. The ups and downs that we have to embrace, understanding that the quarterback is 22 years old and he's a quote-unquote gunslinger. He's going to take risk. He's going to take his shots. Let's start with the good. The miraculous play. The miraculous play that ended regulation. Just absolutely crazy. Just think about it, right? Drake Maye marches his team down the field. He has really no safety net to work with. He understands what the mission is. He's got to get in the end zone. He's got to get in the end zone to give his team a chance to get to overtime. And with everything going against him, he gets down into the red zone. And on that final play, running around for like 12 seconds, just running around, buying time, keeping his eyes downfield, right? Understanding that Hunter Henry was out of bounds and he's out of the play. And never giving up, giving his team and giving himself every single solitary chance that he can give himself and give the team as he waits and waits and waits. And I have no idea how he was able to get rid of that football and put it in a place where Ramondre Stevenson had a chance to catch said football. And shout out to Mondre, who did not give up on the play, kept running around, kept trying to get open. He got open. That play right there, extension of the play, keeping the play alive, understanding the moment, having the poise, not freaking out. That is everything you want to see from a rookie quarterback. That was an outstanding play, and everybody was talking about it yesterday. Everybody was talking about it in the moment, and there are a lot of people still talking about what Drake Maye did at the end of regulation in that game yesterday. Just a tremendous, tremendous play. And there's not a lot of guys that can make that play. And I know my buddy Greg Bedard criticized people for saying that there weren't a lot of quarterbacks in the league that could throw the football downfield the way Drake did to Tyquan Thornton against the Jets when Tyquan dropped it. I still stand by that. Not a lot of dudes who can make that play. And I'm sure there might be people who believe there are a number of quarterbacks in the league who could make that play that Drake Maye played at the end of regulation yesterday. But I'm telling you, there are not a lot of guys who can make that type of play. And he's 22 years old. That's the kind of flash, right? That's the kind of play that pops. That's the play that you write down and say, yeah, he can be special if he figures out a lot of the other things happening on the field. And, you know, he lightens up on the turnovers as he learns and as he develops. Those are the kinds of plays that give you hope. Those are the kinds of plays that you say he can be a different kind of quarterback for this football team. The athleticism. He ran for almost 100 yards yesterday. Just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Evan Lazar writing about Drake Maye's running. He's adding yards beyond the scheme and forcing defensive play callers to stray away from man coverage so they can have eyes on the quarterback in zone structures. There's a ton of value added here on runs like his 26-yard scramble on his first drop back on Sunday. After that first run from Drake Maye, after the first scramble, the Titans decided to play 86.5% of the Patriots dropbacks in zone coverage. So that's a defense that looks at Maye and says, we can't play man against that guy. If we play man against that guy, he's going to kill us. Now, even though they changed to the zone structure, even though they went with more than 86% on the dropbacks of zone coverage, Drake Maye still killed them running around. And that's a part of the game. That's what he can bring to an offense. It's very, very difficult. You have to account for a quarterback who can run. We haven't seen that here in New England. But you have to account for that guy. And it changes the defense. It changes their approach. It changes their strategy. It changes everything. It's a different element, a different dynamic to an offense. And we saw it over and over and over again yesterday with Drake Maye running for almost 100 freaking yards. How about the toughness? Just had a concussion last week. Leaves the game. Has to go through the concussion protocol. Many people were wondering, would Maye play differently? Would Maye be a little skittish running with the ball? Would he be afraid of contact? Well, Maye answered that early and unequivocally. No, I'm not going to be afraid of running with the football. I'm not going to be afraid of trying to make plays for my football team. I'm going to do what I have to do to try to move this offense. Now, there's one thing I would like to tell Drake Maye, and I think all of us should get together and say this. Slide. Please, for the love of God and all that is holy on this earth, slide, Drake. He slid a couple times yesterday, but for me, he took way too many hits. And I don't know if he did it because he listens to the podcast and he heard me say earlier, in this podcast's life about how Drake Maye actually had done a decent job in sliding and getting down, and people were overanalyzing the hit he took against the Jets. I stand by that. In the Jets game, he was getting down. He was sliding. He was protecting himself. He was getting out of bounds. He had not taken a ton of big shots before yesterday's game. He took a couple too many. Young man, make sure you slide. I have no issue with you running the football. No issue whatsoever. Again, it makes it much tougher on the defense, and it also opens things up offensively for you. But when you run, make sure you protect yourself. I thought too many times yesterday he failed to slide in time. He failed to get down and protect himself and protect, therefore, the franchise of the New England Patriots. Because if you're not getting down and you're taking those hits, that could be big-time trouble. So that's the one thing I will say about Drake running. Make sure you slide. But how about the poise from Maye yesterday, right? The end of regulation. It's not only that final play I talked about to put the game into overtime. How about the throw he made to Kayshon Boutte? A lot of people will forget that. That's second and long. That's the drive you need, right? You can't punt. You need to drive down the field and score a touchdown. And that play to Boutte was almost as impressive as the final play of regulation for Maye. Off platform, and he throws an absolute seed to Boutte. Tight window. I mean, that's a crazy throw. If you look at it from the end zone, that is a ridiculous throw. And people will forget about that throw because of the circus final play. But that throw to Boutte to move the chains and keep that offense moving, that was a fantastic play, a fantastic throw, a very, very difficult opportunity for the offense that Drake Maye was able to make happen. The jump pass, the little jump pass to Ramondre Stevenson. That's another play that's going to get overlooked, but he extends. Awkward position. Jump pass. Finds Mondre. Mondre picks up a couple yards, gets out of bounds. Those type of off-platform throws and plays we've talked about from the very beginning with Drake. He is more than capable of making them. I mean, you think about that play to Boutte, the play to Ramondre, and then the touchdown to Ramondre on that final drive of regulation. Those are 3+ plays from your 22-year-old quarterback who's starting, his third, fourth game of his NFL career on the road with time ticking down. You need a touchdown, and he is able to put a drive together like that. That's big-time stuff. Big-time stuff. And frankly, the Patriots are asking way too much of Maye right now. He was almost the entire offense. He accounted for like 95% of the offense that we saw yesterday. The entire show was Drake Maye. That's not ideal for a rookie quarterback. You don't necessarily want to put the young man in a situation where he has to run for almost 100 yards and he has to have those circus plays and off-platform plays to get you to overtime against a team that walked into the game with one win this year. The Patriots are asking way too much of Drake Maye way too early in his career. The good thing is that Maye is actually responding, and he's playing, I think, as good a football as you could possibly imagine given the responsibility that he has within this offense. Offensive line questions we'll get to in a little bit. Coaching questions we'll get to in a little bit. Run game that doesn't get going, we will get to that in a little bit. He has all of these questions, a wide receiver room that has not been productive, that he can't necessarily count on, snap in and snap out. Think about all of the questions going against a defense that was top 10 in DVOA walking into that game. Yes, they didn't have Snead. Yes, they lost Diggs during the game, but that is still a talented defense. That is still a good defense, a challenging defense that will spin the dial, give you a bunch of different looks, and has somebody like Jeffrey Simmons on the defensive line who was wrecking shop throughout the entire game. Think about all of the adversity that Drake Maye is facing yesterday. I don't think you could expect anything more than what he gave you given those circumstances in that game. So while it's not ideal to ask for so much from the rookie quarterback, he is facing the adversity. He is making plays. He is giving this team a chance to win football games. And he is also proving that he has talent and enough talent to make his team better. Just imagine if Drake Maye had the kinds of weapons that Caleb Williams has in Chicago right now. Just imagine that. Imagine if he just had a run game. Let's start there. Imagine if the Patriots could run the football and this offense wasn't, just one-dimensional from the beginning to the end. We're talking about somebody who is climbing up Mount Everest with a refrigerator on his back at 22 years old. And he's playing the way he's playing. Again, not flawless. We'll get to some of the mistakes. But I don't know how anybody can watch that game yesterday and feel nothing but excitement about what Maye has shown us, given the circumstances, given the hand that has been dealt to him. He is doing all that he can. I think the young man, everything considered, has been tremendous. And you know who else thinks he's been tremendous? His teammates and guys that have played against him. Here's what was said yesterday in the postgame. Kendrick Bourne, Drake is just phenomenal. Keep showing it week in and week out. When you have someone like that, it encourages you to go harder. I think that's the greatest thing about Drake. He's doing things that you don't really see at a young age. I'm very excited. I want to be better for him. I think everybody understands in our offensive room that we have something in him that can make everybody better. That's somebody you want to follow. Hunter Henry on Maye. Quote, the guy's special, man. Just the way he competes, the way he plays, the way he continues to fight. I'm excited to continue to go out there and play with him. He's very special. Got a lot of talent. Evan Lazar tweeted this about what Devon Gottschall had to say in the postgame yesterday about Drake Maye. Quote, that's young Josh Allen 2.0. Looks amazing. Love watching him on the sideline. I tell the guys all the time that he plays like Josh Allen 2.0. I played Josh Allen in Miami his rookie year, and he didn't look that good. And Josh Allen is a phenomenal player now. MVP type player. Drake looks better than Josh did his rookie year. Unquote. That's Devon Gottschall. And if you think this is just his teammates, no. Jeffrey Simmons, who was a monster yesterday, Jeffrey Simmons in the postgame told the media that he sought out Maye after the game. Simmons personally went to go look for Maye. Why did he go look for Maye? Simmons told the media he wanted to find Drake Maye to let him know that he's going to be a hell of a player. When a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, who is a monster, one of the best, most talented cats at his position in the league, when a guy like that takes it upon himself to go find the opposing rookie quarterback to tell that rookie quarterback, you're going to be one hell of a player, that says a lot about what the league is seeing in Drake Maye. I think that speaks volumes, and that means something. When Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry and Gottschall, these are veterans. These aren't guys who are just in the league as newbies trying to figure out the league along with Maye. These are guys that have seen quarterback play. These are guys who have played with a bunch of different quarterbacks, played against a bunch of different quarterbacks. When you have Jeffrey Simmons and Gottschall and Henry and Bourne collectively saying, That guy is a dude. That dude is possibly special, but he is certainly one hell of a football player. When you have veterans around the league start saying those types of things about a rookie quarterback, that's when you take notice. It's not me sitting here, Nick Cattles, talking on his podcast saying that Drake Maye has special talent and he has a ridiculous ceiling if he can figure out some of the other smaller things and develop and make sure that he doesn't make as many mistakes as he gets older throughout his career. It's not just me, a talking head, yapping into this microphone telling you about Drake Maye. It's Jeffrey Simmons and Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne and Devon Godshaw. And that means something when players are talking, because when players are talking about somebody like Drake Maye, players know. Nobody in the league knows better when a football player is legit than other professional football players. And not only do players know, players talk. I can guarantee you the Titans defense, along with Simmons, other guys, are talking about Drake Maye yesterday after that game. I can guarantee you they were talking about Drake Maye last night. They might even still be talking about Drake Maye today. Did you see what that dude did? He's pretty tough. Did you see some of those plays that he pulled out of his tuk-tuk? Not many dudes can make those kinds of throws, can come up with those kinds of plays, can have that kind of poise at the end of a regulation and drive his team down like Maye did. And when players know and players talk, that's when you start to build the reputation. That's when you can start talking about recruiting other talent. Guys like Brendan Ayuk, who said thanks, but no thanks. Now maybe the next receiver you go after, the next alpha, the next wide receiver one that you try to acquire, after seeing a day like yesterday, after seeing what Drake Maye did on that final drive in regulation, those players look at Drake and go, yeah, I wouldn't mind playing alongside that dude. He's tough. He's poised. He's talented. He's got swag. Almost always says the right things. It's good that guys are talking. All right, I got a lot more thoughts about Drake Maye and the football game yesterday. As you watch, don't forget to do a couple things that help out this podcast. Doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't take a lot of time. Hit that thumbs up on the YouTube channel. Give us that like. Also throw a comment in. How excited are you about Drake Maye? What do you think about what these other guys are saying, these other players? How's that make you feel when you read those comments or you hear me relay those comments to all of you? Your thoughts on Drake Maye. Hit that like button, that thumbs up. Throw a comment in. Those two things help us beat the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving. We are now 200 away. We're making that push. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, some of the Drake Maye downs yesterday, because there were a couple downs. Obviously, threw 2 picks. I don't know if he saw a hooker on the first pick. The overtime interception was late. He was late throwing it, and it was into the wind, which we'll get to. Again, Antonio's super chat. We will get to what Gerard Mayo said, but it was late. It was into the wind, and it was down the middle of the field. That's a very, very dangerous pass. It was first down. You didn't need it, but again, that's learning experience. Maye was trying to do too much in that moment. Looked like he had Jermichael Hasty if he wanted to check it down. Hasty had a bunch of yards in front of him. That's trying to do too much at that time, and it's a mistake. It's a bad decision. But he took accountability in the postgame, understands it's a mistake. Now we see if he can learn from it. And you're going to take some of those downs with the ups. He's going to make plays like the end of regulation that you're like, oh my God. I mean, they would not have had a chance in that football game yesterday if Drake Maye wasn't the quarterback. Right? I mean, he's the reason why they got to overtime to begin with. He was 95% of the offense. So you're going to take the ups, but you got to get ready for the downs. I thought the fumble was on him. He was a little bit late in escaping the pocket. He had Hasty for a check down on that play as well. Didn't take the profit. We talked about taking profits. He did not take the profit on that play. And Arden Key catches him from behind. I think he was trying to do too much on that play as well. Did not feel the rush behind him, and he fumbled. So those are some of the mistakes. But man, oh man, I don't know how you don't walk away from yesterday's game being super excited about Drake Maye and his future.